everybody, and welcome to Vintage Mego. This week, it's all about KISS. KISS, yes, that's their name. KISS, they look insane. It's hard to deny the impact that KISS had on the 1970s pop culture scape, so it's no surprise that Mego went for them as an action figure line. The deal was apparently struck at Studio 54. I do not think you can get more 1970s than Mego and KISS striking a deal at Studio 54. Now, this video is going to mainly talk about the items Mego didn't release, but let's start by talking about the 12-inch line. First of all, a lot of people wonder why 12 inches and not 8 inches. Well, there's a very simple reason. The answer is price point. You get more money, and 12-inch figures look like more value. Especially if you just negotiated with Gene Simmons, you probably want to do a higher price point. The other reason is detail. You get better detail in a 1/6 figure. And in 1978, Mego was launching a whole bunch of 12-inch figures, especially in the World's Greatest Superheroes line. So it doesn't come as a big surprise that these aren't 8-inch figures. Mego tried to famously save a buck with these, and who can blame them? There's a lot of tooling on the boots and the heads. So while Mego did produce original head sculpts for Gene and Ace by veteran Mego sculptor Ken Scheller, Ken also sculpted the boots the band is wearing. For the Peter Criss sculpt, they used an old Ken Scheller head that was later used also for Lex Luthor. And for Paul Stanley, they famously used the Captain from the Captain and Tennille. This is Daryl Dragon under that makeup, also sculpted by Ken Scheller. So the line did have the same lineage when it came to sculptors, but, you know, they fudged it a bit. And I guess when you're putting that much hair and makeup on something, you can kind of have a soft likeness, because none of us really noticed till we were adults. Mego launched KISS in 1978, and here is a shot of the original prototype of Gene rushed to Toy Fair. As you can see, he is wearing a handmade costume, and the body is that of a fashion doll, which is something Mego did actually release them on. However, they swapped out those bodies pretty early on and put them on the more, muscular superhero body. The KISS dolls, that's right, Mego marketed them as KISS dolls for their entirety. Sorry if you're triggered by the D word. Were marketed from 1978 to 1980 and sold rather well. Internationally, the only place I know they were released other than the United States was Canada, where Grand Toys picked them up, and I personally remember seeing a large end cap of KISS dolls in Zellers. However, my dad believed that KISS stood for Knights in Satan's Service, so it was a no-go for me. As cool as the Mego 12-inch line is, I think it's more interesting to find out what Mego tried or didn't get to release. Now, these photos were donated to the Mego Museum by pioneer collector John Bonavita, whose books inspired a lot of us to collect Mego. He gave these to the museum because he believed in us, and he wanted us to keep the torch lit. There was a time when Mego collecting was slightly obscure, and, the company wasn't back in stores. So it was important to keep this information out there, to keep the torch burning. And, we're really grateful for this because stuff like this really helps. So let's check out the 3 unreleased Mego KISS items that we know about. On the top of the list, we have the KISS Kommunicators, and that is communicator with a K. These are emulating the popular styles that Mego did in the mid-1970s, the Star Trek communicators and the Bat Coders. These are just basically Citizens Band walkie-talkie radios with the KISS logo on them, and they flip up like Starfleet-ish you should. Walkie-talkies are a fun plaything for kids, and it doesn't actually surprise me that Mego tried to label slap the KISS logo on here. This probably just didn't get made due to lack of orders or buyer interest. And that could be because 1978 was a big year for KISS merchandise, and you had competition in the electronic department with things like radios, remote control vehicles, and even a record player from Tiger Electronics. So I just don't think this had the kind of wheels to get into production. Number 2 is actually the one that kind of pains me, and that is Mego proposed a series of KISS Bendables. Honestly, I think this is a great idea. I am a huge fan of Mego's other bend and flex lines, like Planet of the Apes and the World's Greatest Superheroes, and they sort of abandoned the concept, so it's interesting that they were thinking of doing it again in 1978. These would have been lower cost, probably like $1 to $1.50. Figures of KISS you could sneak past your dad who thinks they're satanic. I don't know why this didn't happen. Again, it could have been buyer interest. I also think it may have something to do with them at Mego thinking that it would sabotage the sales of the 12-inch line. You know, you don't want to produce something that's competing with your main brand. They're beautiful. I think they would have been awesome, and I wish they got made. I totally do. Number 3 is probably the most hilarious thing Mego ever tried to propose, and I mean this trumps Ballbuster for me, and that is the KISS Camping set. Yes, that is an inflatable tent, and you'll notice there's just one of them. Yes, those are 4 monogram sleeping bags for each member of the band. Yes, that is a ukulele, and that is a boat, I guess, so Gene can go fishing. I don't know what the hell this is. I honestly do not understand the mentality behind this. If I was going to market something for KISS, I would take one of the stage play sets like the one they made for Cher and convert it into a KISS stage and add instruments, or possibly a van of some sort. I just don't get this. It never appeared in a catalog. Like I said, it came out of some employee files at Mego, and it is just the weirdest thing they ever did. If you could go back in time and make one of these proposed Mego KISS items, which one would it be? Please let me know in the comments here on YouTube or on our Facebook group, Mego Mania, which has over 6,000 members, and we'd love to add you. You can also hit me up on Twitter, @Mego Museum. And of course, the Mego Museum has had a forum for over 20 years where Mego collectors gather and discuss, be it new releases, custom action figures, and of course, Vintage Mego. Thanks for watching again. Really grateful. If you're new to this, please hit like and subscribe, and you'll get a new Vintage Mego every week. Until next week, keep on rocking